And hello and welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, thanks so much for being here. I hope you enjoy the show. Well, we're going to highlight the Old Saybrook Chamber of Commerce, and Judy Sullivan, the Executive Director, is my guest today. And Judy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming to the station. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
You know, we'll talk about the pandemic, but I mean, I've had so many guests via Zoom. It's so nice to have somebody come here.
Yes, absolutely. It's great to see people in person.
One of the things I like to do when I start the program is talk about my guests and their background.
Sure,
so why don't you tell us about yourself and take us back?
Sure. Well, Judy Sullivan, the Executive Director of the Old Saybrook Chamber of Commerce. About 16, 17 years ago, my youngest child was starting kindergarten, wanted to get back into the workforce, and somebody said, I think you'd be really great. There's a part-time job at the Old Saybrook Chamber of Commerce. So I applied, and lo and behold, I was fortunate enough to get the job, and a year later, they offered me the Executive Director position, and that was in 2006. So it's been a pleasure and a privilege to be the Executive Director in Old Saybrook.
Now, you have mentioned that the Chamber is a nonprofit. Did you know growing up or in your adulthood that you'd want to be involved with a nonprofit?
No, not necessarily, and that's kind of the underlying philosophy in the Chamber world is nobody really grows up and says, I want to be part of the Chamber of Commerce, right? So you just kind of evolve into it and you stick with it because it's really a lot of fun.
Were you doing now, you're a mom with children, were you in business before you moved over into the Chamber
I was
world?
in the corporate world. I was in the computer science field. I'm a math major through college, and so I was more on the analytical side. But my father had a business in Old Saybrook, so I knew what it was like to have a small business and family run, and that it's a 24/7 job, right? So you need all the support you can get, and he was always part of the Chamber as I was growing up.
Really?
Yeah.
So you knew about the Chamber growing up?
I did.
People will probably hear the Chamber of Commerce. What does it mean? What does that name stand for?
Well, we've boiled it down to commerce, culture, community. Anything that touches those pillars, we touch as well.
And what are they all about? You were telling me about the history. Take us back into the history.
Sure. The Chamber started in 1939 in the basement of what was the town hall, which of course is now in the Kate in Old Saybrook, and has just been led by strong leaders and flourished over the years, and now we're a membership organization of just about 450 businesses, both in Saybrook and the surrounding shoreline, and some even far away.
How has it been for you these past 16 years to be Executive Director? What are your responsibilities?
A little bit of everything. That's part of the charm of working for a chamber is every day is a little different, right? Not only do we support businesses and run community events, but we act as a welcome center in town, a tourism center. So people stop in all the time and ask what they think are crazy questions, but our response is, we've heard quite a few. We've gotten asked things like, I have a tick on my arm, what do I do? Or can you send me a picture of Katharine Hepburn playing golf? And just some crazy things happen all the time. So we do quite a bit out of that small building.
And you were telling me that you only have a small staff. How on earth do you do it?
A lot of people wear a lot of hats, right? Not only do we have job descriptions, but there's that all-inclusive other duties as required. So, terrific people, terrific volunteers, strong board of directors, lots of hands make light work.
One of the things that the show highlights are arts, entertainment, and culture, which we've talked about.
Right.
I don't think that people understand that the Chamber of Commerce does events year-round.
That's right.
Tell us about some of them.
Sure. In the late winter, early spring, we do the Chili Fest. And for 26 years, we've had 25 to 30 chefs up and down Main Street, Old Saybrook. People come and pay a nominal fee for a ballot, taste all the chilies. It's remarkable how many people will taste 25 chilies. They do vote for their favorite. The requirement is that you have to taste at least 10 for your vote to count. And then the top 3 vote getters get a donation to the charity of their choice. So it's really it's a great event. It also supports the scholarship that the chamber gives out. So that's terrific. Coming up in October is our annual Arts and Crafts Festival. This year is 58 years.
Really?
So that's a lot of art. That's a lot of, parking cars and serving hot dogs and everything else that goes along with it. But we're excited.
Art, let's talk about it for a second, because
Sure.
I know that my viewership would probably love to hear about it. An artist proposes themselves to you with their work, and then you folks decide what can be shown?
That's right. It's a juried show. So we bring in professionals, that on a jury committee. That we've had Lyme Art Association, we've had Lyme College, so we don't do that in staff because we just don't have the eye, right? So we bring in the professionals and it's juried. We ask that people show not only their work, but them doing the work. So we make sure that that's a key component. We get about 150 exhibitors and, from everything from painting, oils, watercolor, to pottery and ceramics. And we even have a fellow this year that makes shoes. So fiber shoes. So it's quite interesting. Metal, wood, lots of things.
Now, we're at the end of the calendar of 2022, and you've mentioned two things so far, Chili and the arts.
Right.
Do you have things that are scheduled throughout the year 2023, 24 that are staples?
Well, those two for sure, the Chili Fest, the art show. We also run the Scarecrow Fest in town, so that'll be coming up. You'll see scarecrows popping up all over town. People vote for their favorite for that. That's a lot of fun. We do something new since the pandemic is the Great Restaurant Raffle. So we have a raffle that the first prize is $100 gift card to every single restaurant in Old Saybrook. So we've done it 2 years now in a row, and the first winner had 42 gift cards. And then we give out other prizes as well, but it's quite fun to present somebody with 42 gift cards, especially right before the holidays. They said, oh, all my Christmas shopping is all done. So we do things like that, the sidewalk sales in the spring. We give out a scholarship in May, all kinds of things.
Tell us about the scholarship. I don't think people would know that you folks do something like that.
We do a scholarship. We do a scholarship every year for a graduating senior. Actually, we give out multiple scholarships depending on how successful a year we've had. There's a committee, applications are submitted, and we've given out at least 4 every year, so we're grateful for that.
Now, I mentioned to you before we started taping the program that DramaWorks has been on the show twice, and Ed Wilhelms has become a dear friend. And he mentioned just how supportive the Old Saybrook Chamber of Commerce was to him to get his startup theater going.
Right.
Are you folks the place to stop, to get help?
We are certainly one of them. Absolutely. We partner well with the Economic Development Commission in town. So I think in partnership between us and the town, I think that's a great place to start.
So if somebody is out there right now watching us that is looking to start up a business, can they come and call you folks and say, how do I get started?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll walk you through that, hook you up with the right people, introduce you. We do a lot of connecting. So if you're looking for a certain type of client or maybe another business to partner with, we do a lot of that. Yeah.
And speaking of some of your members, you were mentioning that you had some members in California.
That's right.
Tell us about the membership that could be national to the chamber.
Sure. This particular, the companies that I was talking about, one is Saybrook University, that they're an online professional development that got their roots here in Old Saybrook and then have moved out west, but they wanted to stay part of the town. So, and the other business is Saybrook Sleep. He produces a pillow, and he went to Saybrook College at Yale, so he has remained connected to Saybrook as well. So it's quite interesting, it really is.
Tell us about the website. When the viewer does go to the website, what will they see?
Sure, oldsaybrooktchamber.com. You'll see all kinds of things. You'll see events coming up. You'll see a business directory. You'll see news releases. You'll see an access to our community gift card, which is Saybucks. So you could buy a digital gift card, email it or text it to somebody, and then they get it on their phone and can use it at nearly 50 businesses.
Really?
So that's been a great, community support. and a nice way to give gifts. People give them to teachers, they give them to coaches. Yeah, so that's there too.
Now, you folks are located right in the center of Old Saybrook, and do you have a lot of people that walk in and ask you questions that are just normal questions about the town or what to do, where to go?
Yep, just today, folks were coming in for maps. Folks come in to find out where to ride their bikes, where to hike, where they can rent a kayak, what's the best lobster roll, all kinds of things. Yeah, both resident and visitors. Yeah.
Volunteers. I probably have a lot of people that are out there saying, of all ages, how do I get involved either in the town or with the chamber?
Sure.
Tell us about volunteering.
We have a lot of opportunities. We have, office support. We have event support. Just come on in. Come on in. We're there 9 to 4:30 every day, or give us a call.
Now, I remember, because I'm a Starbucks person, and I know where you're located, that the building went up a few years ago?
We moved in 2008.
Oh, 2008 already.
So we've been there for, 14 years.
Where were you before? You were in Town Hall?
Temporarily we were in the shopping center next to a Walmart.
Okay.
And before that, when I joined the chamber, it was on Main Street where Harbor Books is now, on Main Street, Old Saybrook. So, but they've been, I know at some point they were above the paint shop. I think they moved around a little bit. But yeah, we're fortunate to be in that building for sure.
How does somebody get on the board?
There's a process, right? We have a governance committee and a nominating committee. We ask that somebody get involved and maybe work on a committee or two. And then if there's interest to be on the board, then we go through the process.
What about a new business that moves into town and would like some help? They get in touch with you, and then what happens?
Well, it depends on the help they want, but oftentimes we'll just start introducing them to other people, right? A lot of it is exposure, marketing. They can advertise on our website, and our newsletter, and our digital magazine, all kinds of things. A lot of it is about exposure, right? And just like I said, meeting the people that they want to meet.
Do you have monthly gatherings? Are there meetings to go to?
Sure. Every first Thursday at 8 o'clock in the morning, we're down at the pavilion along the river. So we have that meeting. We have our more casual kind of after-hour meetings at different businesses once a month as well. We have a women in business luncheon group that meets every month. We have a nonprofit support group that meets every month. So there's lots of opportunities for people.
There's lots
that you
don't even think about.
Right.
Okay, let's hold that thought.
Okay.
I'm Deborah Gilbert. You're tuned into Arts and Entertainment. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
You matter.
You matter.
You matter.
And your words matter too.
Your words matter.
What you say in the hallways at school or in the student section at a game matters.
Words can be hurtful.
Words can be offensive.
Words can leave scars.
Words can also inspire.
Support and uplift.
You and your words.
Are they both important?
As a matter of fact, yes.
Community TV, your neighborhood TV.
Publicly funded and a reliable partner for cable companies nationwide, it provides transparent coverage of local and state government, education, and public programming.
A digital town green that can be watched anywhere, anytime, and on any device.
Watch us on today's high-tech distribution methods.
Community TV in Connecticut.
Local,
unfiltered,
reliable, and
yours.
And hello and welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, I hope you're enjoying the show. Well, we're highlighting the Old Saybrook Chamber of Commerce, and Judy Sullivan continues to be my guest. And Judy, we had mentioned before again we started taping, the pandemic. How did the chamber do during this time when people went to Zoom and other things?
Sure. Well, we were right in that boat, right? And it was a little scary for a while. But we rallied the troops, when that first shutdown happened. My team and I called every one of our member businesses, checked in on them, see how we could help. We partnered with emergency management and public health and our Board of Selectmen, and we facilitated a conference call every week so businesses could get questions answered directly from those folks. So that was great. We did that for maybe 15 or 16 weeks. We helped with PPE. We had some supplies at the office if people needed masks and sanitizer and things like that. And then we just, worked on trying to figure out what this new thing was look like, right? At some point, we did a great takeout giveaway. So we were giving out a $100 gift card to restaurants every day. We did that for 50 days with the support of some local businesses and the Rotary Club and things like that. So we, like everybody else, had to get creative, right? And knock on wood, we made it through and things are looking bright.
Does the chamber have anything to do with government or is in touch with government?
No, in touch with, certainly. A lot of folks think that we are a government agency, but we're not. We're strictly membership driven. And so far as, political candidates and whatnot, we'll host a forum to get word out to businesses, but we don't get involved too much in stances and things like that.
Probably my next thought would be a statewide organization, national organization. Mm-hmm. Tell us, is the Chamber of Commerce of Old Saybrook just by itself?
As an organization we are, but we do belong to the Connecticut Association of Chamber of Commerce Execs. So that organization does things like professional development for all the chambers that belong. So certainly, there's partnership with other chambers and things like that. But, the joke in the chamber world is if you've seen one chamber, you've seen one chamber.
Are they pretty much the same?
No, we do similar things for sure. But maybe somebody's priorities are a little different or their focus is different or, being here on the shoreline, we're very tourism driven. So that's a little bit different than some of the regional chambers, things like that. So just depends on the business climate.
Is the corporate community in touch with you on a normal basis? I mean, do they need help from you?
Some, but we really support the small business.
Small business.
Yeah. That's kind of our strength. I would say the vast majority of our members are less than 50 employees.
Are less than 50 people?
Yeah.
I don't think that people would realize that.
Yeah. We have a lot of, 1 and 2 kind of employees.
Really?
Businesses. Yeah. So that's a great place for them to get exposure, marketing, all those things that are important, but not, they're busy working on their businesses, right?
To the viewer that's watching right now that's about to start a business or has started a business, has thought about contacting the chamber, what would make them do that?
Well, one thing that we hear a lot is, I was able to grow my business because I met so many people in the community, right? So we can help connect people with either other businesses that they might do partnerships with. We have a monthly meeting and we had a sign company come in and he connected with a car dealer and all of a sudden he was wrapping all their vans, right? So it's things like that that happen all the time, which, just warms my heart because that's what we do, right? Yeah.
Do you hear about the success rate?
Not all of them for sure, but we get quite a few comments that I would not have had this opportunity had it not been for the exposure that I got through the chamber.
Can the public attend functions such as you were mentioning before of different meetings, so on and so forth?
Yes, of course. We invite people to come. We certainly encourage them to become members of the chamber, but you can be a guest for sure.
Okay, so then a normal person can become a chamber member, or they should be corporate oriented?
It should be a business, but we do have some folks that have either retired from their businesses or belong to the chamber in another location, and we do have an individual membership as well. So we have not a lot, but less than 15 probably, but they're great volunteers for us and just want to stay active in the community. So that's huge.
The volunteering, which we had mentioned. So let's just backtrack to what you just said. If somebody would like to be a part of it and has retired, they can still be a part of the chamber, volunteer.
Sure, come on in. We'll have a chat, see what your interests lie. I forgot we have a golf tournament every year, so sometimes that's of interest to folks, and the art show, and sometimes it's just getting the mailings out if we do a mailing, or or folding the 75 t-shirts that we just got for the art show. All those kind of things are helpful for sure.
What does the future look like for the Chamber?
Well, right now we're very busy with the art show, so we're going to get through October 1 and 2, but we've got that going on. We'll have a new board, not totally new board, but new board members installed for 2023, and then that group will sit down and kind of set our priorities for 2023, and off we go.
So the board, what do they do priority-wise? They tell the Chamber what to do?
Yeah, they're the governing body of the organization, so technically I report to the board, and it's my responsibility to carry out, to meet the strategic objectives, right, that the board sets forth for the year. So if it's growing membership or strengthening an event or whatever it is. So we have about 15 to 18 people on the board from all different businesses. Really, it's a working board for sure, so they all pull their weight somehow.
And they all have a business behind them to be a board member?
Correct, yeah. In our bylaws, it states that a board member needs to be a business member of the organization.
I see, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if we might have, but tell us what your day is like. What is it that you do? What keeps you busy each day?
Things like this, it's a treat, so thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. But today I'm working on some governing documents that the governance committee meets tomorrow. Thursday is the Women in Business Luncheon, so we're tightening everything up for that. Certainly the art show, I'm even checking signs and trash can counts. So, there's all different kind of things that happen for sure.
The Women in Business Luncheon probably have a lot of women that are interested in what does that mean?
Yep. We have a luncheon right now. We're at Penny Lane Pub. We meet for about an hour and a half, have a delicious lunch, and then a speaker. So this week we're having Kim Pita from Pita Pieces and Love Your Mental Health in Chester, and she's just talking about self-care and mental health and how important it is. So, it's nice for anybody to take a little respite during the day and just kind of go, let's think about that for a minute, right? We've had marketing, we've had some authors come in about different things, and we're all a lot stronger than we think we are, right? And it's good to sit back and realize that.
And of course, the men out there are going to say, what about us? Do you have a men's group that meets?
Well, not at this point, we don't, but that's not necessarily, the way that it will be in the future, so, right.
They probably would like to have something for themselves as well.
They probably would.
How would somebody get involved with the Chamber employment-wise? Now, you have your staff, but somebody may want to work for you.
They may. At this point, I don't have an opening, but certainly, just give us a call and see, what's available, and maybe we could start as a volunteer and see where that goes. We work on a real tight budget, so, staffing we're lean for sure.
Speaking of budgets, where does your funding come from?
Our funding comes primarily from members, from the 450 membership, from events and things like that. And some little things here and there. We get donations sometimes. So, yeah.
Speaking of that, if somebody would like to donate to the Chamber, just do it through the website?
Do it through the website, give us a call, stop on in. Yeah, any of those things.
Or
all of those things.
Yeah, you want them to do it.
We've had some generous residents come and, certainly during the pandemic, people were very generous and say, I love the restaurants, here's some money, and that's what helped us launch that $100 gift card every day. Yeah, so things like that, are just such a little blessing that kind of happen out of the blue, but sustain us, for sure.
Do you have a creative group that comes up with ideas as to what you folks should be doing?
Things kind of evolve, or, from those either statewide groups or national groups, there'll be talk about best practices and what worked well for somebody. So sometimes we get ideas from other organizations or other chambers across the country. I was fortunate enough to participate in something called the Institute for Organization Management. So it was a 4-year program that I attended every summer at Villanova, and it was all for chambers run by the U.S. Chamber, and it was all professional development. So there was, really great ideas and best practices that came out of that.
Do you have meetings that you need to attend to locally, statewide, federally that have to do with your position?
Nothing that is required of me, but I do attend a lot of the group organizations like the Connecticut Association, and I also belong, and as a matter of fact was on the board for a while of the New England Association of Chambers. So that was a great resource, right? And a lot of strong colleagues came out of that. So those are those people that you bounce the ideas off of, and or this is happening and how did you handle it, right? So it's great to have that support.
Well, I want to thank you. We've run out of time.
Oh gosh, that was fast.
Didn't it go fast?
It did.
Thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And you've been tuned into Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a super day. In case you want to volunteer or be a guest, please contact me. I'm at artsandentertainment@mail.com. Again, have a super day. I'll see you next time.